Thank you, Indigo and Michael and Ron, for words that spoke to my heart, and I'm sure the rest of us too. I'm David Stanley, grandfather to 3 small children. Not here today because afflicted by COVID. I'm also a father, a son, and a grandson. I want to talk about grandparenting in the time of COVID. When we became grandparents 11 years ago, I was determined to become a bigger presence in my grandchildren's lives than I had experienced both as child and as parent. Even now, I am sad that geographic separation and estrangement made my own grandparents distant strangers, and that even greater geographic distance isolated our children from their grandparents, uncles, aunts, and cousins. We raised our children without family support, and that grieves me, though it did drive us to seek out a supportive community that we found in our local UU fellowship 40 years ago. So it's been a great joy for me to have a close relationship with my grandchildren, thanks to their proximity and the gifts that retirement, good health, and financial security have afforded to me. I was very grateful that my son, and especially my daughter-in-law, allowed this. I'm skeptical that we would have ever allowed our fathers to pedal around town with our little ones on the back, or to spirit them off across the ocean to visit distant relatives. But our experience during COVID has, in a way, turned the tables and enabled us to feel the gratitude from our son and daughter-in-law for the relief that we have been able to offer during a time when our society reacted to COVID in a way that placed such burdens on families raising small children. The images of taped-off playgrounds, shuttered schools, museums, campgrounds, and churches remain raw and infuriating for me. The requirement that working parents had to turn their homes into workplaces and sit their young children in front of screens to receive remote learning was terribly isolating and burdensome. The months when grandparents were urged to isolate from contact with children were especially painful. The quickly emerging scientific understanding that children were not primary vectors, and the pleas from pediatricians that isolation was especially harmful for small children were drowned out by the plaintive appeals from the frail and the fearful, and the blasts of misinformation from malevolent trolls and cynical political opportunists. Exhausted and confused parents were left hanging by schools that offered only delivery of Chromebooks for toddlers and brown-bagged meals for the needy, followed by the even greater burden of so-called hybrid schools when kids were neither in nor out of the classroom. It was a time when our assistance as grandparents became not just an opportunity for pleasant outings, storytelling, and treats, but a lifeline for our beleaguered families. What do we do without the many who had no such lifeline?